My name is Sarah, and I'm a 27-year-old woman who has been diagnosed with Asperger syndrome. And if you haven't heard of Asperger's before, you've probably been made aware of it in the last week because the shooter in Connecticut was supposedly diagnosed with Asperger's. It's also said he had a personality disorder, But anyways, it's brought autism and Asperger's into the media, which technically isn't Asperger's anymore. It's part of the autistic spectrum, but it's brought into the media. And some of it's also been brought into a bad light. And I'd like to try and clear up a few misconceptions people may have about Asperger's or autism since, reading about it or hearing about it. The first is that we don't have empathy. That couldn't be further from the truth. I have a lot of empathy for people. I just don't often know how to show it. I'm afraid of showing it for fear of it coming out wrong, so I don't. And I also have problems with physical contact. I don't like initiating or getting it. It's unpleasant for me. Looking people in the eyes is unpleasant. It's like touching a hot stove. My instincts jerk away. Being hugged, it's just sensory issues. It's just when I'm very ticklish, overly ticklish and sensitive to touch. Hugging is just no. I don't even hug my own family or let them hug me. It doesn't mean I don't love them, because I do. It just, physical touch is hard for me. But a lot of people view that as I'm cold or unfeeling, when that couldn't be further from the truth. I cried when I heard about what happened in Connecticut. It pissed me off. It enraged me that somebody could do that to children, or to anyone for that matter, I thought about my nephew, who was 7 years old. And he's the same age as some of the victims, and I thought about what if it had been him, would have been his golden gun attacked. And I don't know how I could have lived with myself, or how I could have lived afterwards knowing that he was dead, that he was going to no longer go on hikes with me, or we were no longer going to play video games together, or, he was no longer pet my cat, and it devastated me. So, it's not that we don't feel empathy, it's that we don't show it in normal ways. Also, Asperger's and violence. There's been studies which show that Asperger's does not correlate to violence, although there's been things on now about autistic meltdowns and rages. And I want to say that what he did, that was not an autistic rage. He thought about what he was going to do, He planned it. That was a cold, calculated anger. Autistic meltdown is completely different from that. I've had them before, more frequently than I like to admit, I like to think of it as a volcanic eruption, just it's hot and fast, but it's hot and, rageful, but it fades fast, And generally, I self-harm, hit myself, claw myself in the face, bite myself, and generally over sensory overload are little things building up, setting me off. I'm not handling frustrations as well as I should, or as good as other people. So I tend to self-harm. There's been or go after inanimate objects. Now there has been cases when I have struck a pet or an animal, kicked it, shoved it away real hard, and afterwards I've been immediately regretful. The rage fades away to me feeling ashamed of what I did, and remorseful. And generally when I'm in the midst of a meltdown, so to speak, I'm not thinking. It's more like Hulk, rage. I punch myself, or I punch a wall, or I throw things. So I said I kicked the animal. But I don't think about going to get a gun and shooting anybody. That doesn't occur to me. And I want to say that I've never once thought about picking up a gun, even when I've been in the midst of my worst meltdowns. Generally I try to get away from people. In fact, I've never hurt a person, or never threatened to hurt anybody. I generally try to get away from people, to be by myself in my room, or somewhere quiet, where I can just let it all out. I don't want to hurt people, and I don't like hurting people. One of the things about guns, and a lot of people have been harping on the mother, for having guns around him. I want to say that I have autism and anxiety. Not my life. I wasn't diagnosed until I was 17, you know, but we've had guns around the house since I was in diapers. My family has, you know, grandparents in my house, and I have never once even considered picking up a gun without permission. You know, it just doesn't occur to me to do that. You know, I've never wanted to shoot anybody, even when I've been my angriest. You know, in fact, I like guns. I think they're fascinating, you know. I'm not, you know, obsessed with them or anything, but I don't mind going out with family and shooting at targets. You know, I enjoy that. And I just want to say that, you know, I think I don't harp too much on the mother for just, you know, having guns and because he was autistic or whatnot. I think he did have other problems more than autism. And I think he had it a little bit worse. You know, he didn't just have autism, he had a lot of other issues. He was a cold man in a very bad place. I think in that aspect, you know, maybe the mother shouldn't have had guns, but not just because he had autism, and not just because he had a personality disorder. That does not make somebody dangerous or mentally unfit. You know, but so it sounds like he had other problems. You know, her not wanting him to be alone with anybody. But I just want to try to clear up a few misconceptions, as I said, you know. You know, we're not like that man. Vast majority of Asperger's people. You know, I'm not saying there's one out there that couldn't snap and be a killer. Just as there's, you know, one of, you know, so-called neurotypical normal people that couldn't snap and be a killer, you know. But please don't demonize or scapegoat us all that we're like him, because we're not. If you met one person with autism, you met one person with autism. And what's more is, I don't even know, I don't know if they know he has autism. I mean, they said he has all these things, you know, I'm not sure if they know themselves, but, you know, autism itself did not cause this. That guy had other issues, a lot of other issues. So yeah, that's it. Sorry for rambling, everyone off course and tangent. You know, I'm new at this, never done this before, but I wanted to make a statement.